Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Deborah Tyler, and I am so pleased and happy to have you with us here this afternoon for this National Panel of New Principals NPNP Snapshot. And as we go through the presentation, I'll share our thinking around this, but we are very invested in the career of a new principal, especially as a national association. So if we go to the next slide. You'll see my picture. So I am the Associate Executive Director of Professional Learning for NASP. I've been with NASP now for almost 2 years, but prior to that, I was a principal of two elementary schools, a Title I and a non-Title I school, and also worked in the central office, was an assistant superintendent who during her career appointed 22 principals. And so what I tell people, in my long career is that the sweet spot for me was the principalship. And so that's why I'm so happy today to be a part of this conversation with you. And so I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Dion Christie, so she can introduce herself.
Thank you, Debbie. My name is Dion Christie, and I am the Director of Principal Leadership Development at the National Association of Elementary School Principals. I, like Debbie, truly believe in all principals succeeding in the work that they do in schools, especially a sweet spot with early career new principals. I have served as a school administrator, district leader, and a state and university advisor to support school improvement and school leadership in a way that builds principals' capacity to lead school culture around academics, behavior, and climate. So I'm very pleased to be here with my colleague, Deborah, to move this work forward and in support of all of you.
So a little bit background about NASP. So I'm very proud to say that I've been a member of NASP since I was an assistant principal and found great value in the work that the association has done and is doing, and that's why I was so excited to be invited to be a part of the staff here. So I'm not going to read you all the words on the page, but just a little bit of background. So we have nearly 20,000 members, and we are a K through 8 association. But a big piece of our work is around professional learning, advocacy. I will tell you, when I came on board, I was very, very pleasantly surprised at the large footprint that NASP has on behalf of principals on Capitol Hill. NASP was very instrumental in making sure that with the new reauthorization of now what we have is ESSA, that for the very first time the word principal is throughout that law. I was very surprised to learn that prior to that it was not. And so NASP fought very, very hard to make sure that the actual word principal was throughout that document and not just school leader. So knowing that our future is very much dependent upon our new principals, that is why NASP established the National Panel of New Principals a couple of years ago. It is one of their signature programs. It's been acknowledged by the U.S. Department of Ed, and it was also featured in Ed Week. So the panel is open to NASP members and non-members, and the qualifications are elementary, middle school principals in their first or second year as a principal. And so what do the panelists do? So they participate in 4 to 6 online surveys each year on a relevant topic. And so we also, what do the panelists get? So we try to give you entree to firsthand knowledge about our conferences, any other special events that we're having. And so I want to talk to you more about what the panelists do. So when I came on board in NASP and was given this project, I saw that it was mainly comprised of surveys throughout the year. And so Dion and I worked very, very hard to establish a deeper touch with new principals. I really feel that it needs to go beyond surveys. And so as we go through the presentation, you'll see some of the things that we have created for this first year of our work in this together. And so a lot of this is very, very incumbent upon the feedback that you give us. Yes, we're both former principals, but we're not working in the school on a day-to-day basis like you are. And even though I know the position, the great things about the job, the challenges about the job, we really depend on you to be our ear to the ground to make sure that the association is meeting your needs. So this is going to be very flexible, and we value your input. So just to give you some background, so part of the survey process is what we call the Rise and Shine, which is a synopsis of each of the surveys. So at the beginning of the year, we do a beginning of the year survey just to get some ideas about who is out there communicating with us in this work. So on this year's panel, 25% of the respondents were brand new principals just starting their first year, and 75% had at least a year under their belts. Another important component to us is looking at the Gen Xer versus the millennials. So you'll see only 3% are under 30 years old, 34% of you are in your 30s, 46% of you are in your 40s, and 17% are over 50. And so to get an idea about what are your schools like, so based on the survey results, we find that half of your schools now include pre-K, and we'll talk more about that. That's a major initiative for NASP. And almost two-thirds of you, 64%, are leading Title I schools. Some people would be shocked by that, but I think we all know the reality about the growing poverty that we're facing in our schools, and so it's something that we plan to address very, very deeply in our year in working with you. So, did you hit the ground running this year? Most of you opened your schools feeling pretty well prepared. Over 72% of the panelists gave your score of 7 or higher on a 10-point scale. So this is really good, and so I know many of you have heard, that it is a job where you have to hit the ground running, and making sure that you have things well in place for the beginning of the year opening for your staff, for your students, and your parents is very, very important. So there was a positive difference between first and second year principals on this measure. While only 22% of the first year principals gave themselves an 8 or higher, that number increased to 49% of principals who've had an extra year's experience. And what I like to compare this to, when we look at studies about the success of teachers within their first 3 years, I find it's very, very parallel to that. I can remember as a first-year principal, I was just trying to get my feet on the ground and understand the terrain that I had been appointed to. So that first year, you are really looking at the landscape. That second year, you have a better idea of what you're going to face. Those surprising things don't surprise you as much anymore. And I really look at the third year of the principalship is the year that you really soar and begin to take off. So in looking at what your biggest school-wide challenges are, the top challenges that were identified were, and I'm sure you're not surprised by any of this, it's the student achievement, the student academic achievement, closing the achievement gap, student discipline and behavior, budgetary concerns, parent engagement, special ed issues, student wellness and mental health, and teacher quality issues. And these are all issues that we have been grappling with in the sphere of education for many, many years.
Thank you, Debbie, for giving the overview of the survey and the needs of our early career new principals. What's exciting is that Debbie and I are really listening to what you're saying you need. We're paying close attention to the survey feedback. We're looking at the current research. We're looking at what are the technical and adaptive challenges for new principals as it relates to school leadership. And so we are introducing a professional learning opportunity to explore your passion for school leadership, to collaborate and learn with your peers, and to expand your capacity and reach to successful expert principals, thought leaders in the field. And so we want to start off by just simply talking about what is the book talk that we're going to provide for new principals. This NAESP virtual book talk for early career principals is a free professional learning community, an opportunity to learn together with leaders in the field, principals in practice currently, and principals who have done the work before and are now doing work at a higher level at the university level or in other leadership capacities. So this is a real up-close and personal learning opportunity for you around the needs that you have stated of importance. The purpose and the goals of the virtual book talk is for you to connect with early career principals and with principal, author, education thought leaders in an online PLC book talk webinar community. The featured author book talk provides promising school leadership and education perspectives that will address your critical questions, your problems of practice, and also entertain some of the ideas that you have in moving your school forward for the benefit of students, teacher excellence, and parent and community engagement. And so these featured authors will provide insights through personal stories, real examples tied to job-embedded situations, and step-by-step adaptive thinking and solutions that are closely tied to your questions and your areas of need. And so we're addressing directly through these upcoming virtual book talks, principal leadership in action, student academic achievement, closing student achievement and opportunity gaps, and teacher quality issues, which are the key issues that you have identified as your top challenges that you would like to be addressed and entertained for your needs. In addition to the first webinar opportunity with the featured author, you also have an opportunity for a follow-up component of 2 to 3 on-learning, professional learning community sessions with the featured author. This is an up-close opportunity to learn with other early career new principals around key ideas that you have, whether they are technical or adaptive, problems of practice for your deeper learning and connection with teachers, students, families, communities, and other education leaders that help you before, during, and after school. Our first book author, Cherylsterben, book Becoming a School Principal, gives you up-close and personal details, a courageous conversation around learning to lead and leading to learn. Sarah is an outstanding educator who has consulted with schools, districts, and a variety of education organizations around school leadership and improvement. She is currently a senior lecturer at Harvard University's Graduate School of Education School Leadership Program. She is an award-winning principal. She has been a school teacher, staff developer, and just a consultant for other principals who want to learn more at elementary, middle, and high school levels. She's going to address in this book talk empowering teachers to be the very best in creating strong school culture and classroom climate, building trust while addressing racial and economic inequities, supporting culture of continuous learning, and highlighting issues such as learning around skillful authority leadership, dealing with resilience and resistance, and managing supervision and evaluation. She is going to bring up close actionable steps and a way for you to look at a powerful vision for your school of leading and learning. NAESP is creating a great opportunity to provide 25 books that will allow the first 25 participants who register for this webinar online community opportunity and actually attend the webinar session a free autograph book that will support you in looking at the potential learning aspects as you go through the book talk. We will provide that for the first 25 signed up participants. In addition to that, you can also go online with a 20% discount from Harvard Education Press with the code at the website listed on the screen.
Great, and so thank you, Dion. We are very, very excited about having Sarah be a part of this work with us. And so also we are going to enlist the expertise of Brad Estephan. So a little bit about Brad. Brad is an elementary school principal in Minnesota. He is a recent recipient of our National Distinguished Principal Award. I've had the pleasure in collaborating with him around some work around Future Ready Leaders. If you have any familiarity about that, if not, I strongly suggest you go to the U.S. Department of Ed website, because Future Ready Leadership is a strong initiative that's being implemented nationally, and Brad has been on the forefront with that. And you'll see that Brad has also written the book Renegade Leadership. So as far as some highlights from this book, he really emphasizes the importance of relationships and having purpose. He provides a framework to meet all staff where they are, even those reluctant learners that we all know and deal with on a day-to-day basis. He shares a very powerful pedagogy that you can apply to teacher evaluation. His stories and practical illustrations of how to make best practice are very, very relevant. He's able to help you identify the potential pitfalls and personal leadership failures that he has experienced. He gives you examples of global collaboration and connected learning, and also gives you strategies to build a culture of innovation in your school. When I have heard Brad talk about the innovation in his school, it blows me away. And his ideas are very practical and very doable, and I think this is a leader that you will definitely learn from. So again, here's some information about how to order his book, and we will be posting this webinar online so that you can go back and you'll have access to this information and the links. But again, I'm very excited about Brad being a part of this journey with us.
Thanks, Debbie. I'm really excited to have Brad be a presenter with us. I too agree that he is a wonderful example of a principal leader currently in practice that can add value. Another virtual book talk author that we're going to present to you is Richard Gerber. Richard Gerber is a practicing principal in the United Kingdom, bringing you experts from the United States and abroad who are doing outstanding work around school leadership. Richard brings a variety of support around thinking of leveraging the fine arts, STEM, arts education that supports school leadership and a strong learning school culture for students. Richard is going to co-present with Cherylsterben of Crayola, who is also an expert leader in the field, worked very closely with Richard around this work in the U.S. and the UK to provide principal leaders with expertise and knowledge around how to support creativity through arts, innovative thinking, team working and communication skills, and skills that will empower children to be confident in their learning so that they develop with strong skills, knowledge, and disposition. He looks at school leadership through the eyes of technology, information, and future-ready students. We're looking forward to working with both of them and to have you be exposed to their expertise and thought leadership knowledge. We are providing a website, a link for you to purchase the book so you'll be prepared for the actual book talk session. So please take a look at that link. We will provide it for you later as well, all of the links, so that you can move into the book talk community and be prepared for the webinar and purchase the books.
So our last virtual book talk that we haven't established a definitive date for, but we know it's going to be in the summer of 2017, and it's around principal leadership and digital transformation in a student-centered learning culture. So Tom Murray and Eric Scheninger have a new book that's coming out very, very soon. And some background on Tom, he's the Director of Innovation at Future Ready Schools. I mentioned that to you earlier. And he's a part of the Alliance for Excellent Education. And he partners with Eric Scheninger, who is a senior fellow with ICLE model schools. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the work of Bill Daggett around model schools. And so he and Tom have collaborated on a great book together. They're both great leaders who really get the work around the principalship. I've had the pleasure of working with model schools intimately, and I've been to their model schools conferences. I've spent time with Bill Daggett, and I think that both of these gentlemen are going to bring you some very good practical information that you can use in your schools. So again, here's more information about registering for the virtual book talks.
We have the link provided for you to simply register for the NAESP Virtual Book Talk community. Remembering that this is an online book talk community where you learn together, where you learn key information that will build your capacity in school leadership, principal leadership, and can support teachers in being effective in teaching and learning practices. And so the benefits of joining this book talk learning community is that you will receive invitations to the early career principal webinars featuring new ideas and successful practices. You will also receive free NAESP CE certificates for attending and viewing webinars. You will have access to a resource library with webinar recordings, free resources from the expert principal leaders and education thought leaders, and possible quizzes to receive free CE certificate for all past webinars around the virtual book talks. You will also have an opportunity to connect through an online forum and collaborate with your peers and leading thought leaders in education and principal leadership. So what are the next steps? Debbie and I hope you are very excited about the premier book talk speakers and that you will move forward in making the necessary steps. First thing is to register, join the book talk online community. We have the link for you to do that right away. The second step is to make sure that you think about our NAESP National Panel of New Principals opportunity and to continue to be a member of that National Panel of New Principal advisory group, with the idea that you'll have an additional extended 2 months learning experience for 2 to 3 sessions with principal authors and expert leaders where you can directly have up close and personal opportunities to ask your questions and to really think deeply about what you're trying to do in your schools with support strategies. Keep in mind that for each one of the webinars with the virtual book talks, you will have an opportunity to register very quickly so that you'll have an opportunity to have a free autographed book from these particular authors. The other incentive is to order online with a 20% discount. The contacts for the webinars, the book talks, online communities will be through myself, Dion Christie. If you have any questions, I have my email address for you to contact me. The assistant for the NPNP will be Nikki Sparks, who will take care and help you if you need it through registration and joining not only the virtual early career book talk, but our NAESP National Panel of New Principals.
So in closing, you are the new principal, but you're also the lead learner. in your school and in your district. And so I provided some websites to you with links that you can get more information about being a new principal. So NASP published a journal around Leadership Matters, and so if you click on that link, and we all know how important leadership is, but when we talk about leadership matter and how it matters how we support principals in their, especially in their first few years of the principalship. I also gave you a link to an ASCD article around the first year hurdles of a principal. The RAND organization has done extensive research around principal leadership, and especially around first year, what I call early career principals. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Wallace Foundation. NASP is very, very fortunate to have a partnership with the Wallace Foundation. We have been working with them on some of their major initiatives, their Principal Supervisor Initiative, their Principal Leadership, Principal Pipeline Initiative. And so I strongly encourage you to visit the Wallace Foundation website, because you will find all types of information around school leadership on that site. So again, you are the lead learner, but I really am excited about joining you in the learning. And so I hope you're excited about how we have created a deeper touch with you beyond the survey. I felt that was so important that we move this work to a different level with that. Even though you may be spread across the nation, and I'm sure many of you know that we have offices in Alexandria, Virginia, and Reston, Virginia, but we have touches throughout the nation. And so we just want you to know that we are here for you and with you in the work. You have 2 people participating with you today in this webinar. We've done the work. And whenever I travel anywhere across the nation and have conversations with principals, the principalship is a job that deserves great honor. And I hope that we as an association, I know that we in association really value that. But again, it's not just us in this work. We need your voices. We need your expertise. We need your best thinking on how to support and uplift the profession of the principalship. So again, I want to thank you for your participation. We do have a chat box. If you want to submit any questions that you have, we can take some time now to answer some of your questions. But again, I want to thank you, and we're so excited about moving this work forward. And another thing that I want to share with you is in July of 2017, the exact date's July 9th through the 11th, we will be holding our first National Principals Conference in Philadelphia. This is a joint conference with NAESP, with NASSP, and NASP together, because we understand the value of that pre-K through 12 continuum, and it's going to be a very, very unique conference experience, nothing like you've ever experienced before. I was with the planning committee this morning. I hope that you will go on our website to get more information about our national conference, and because again, we will have opportunities there to bring our NPs together for some additional special events and some additional learning together. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And we wish you the very best, and we hope you will stay connected with us through these professional learning opportunities.